Sliced or pulled, served on a plate, or served on a bun, there's few things that can beat a moist, tender chuck roast. So let's get one smoking.
Welcome to Smokin' Ass Barbecue.
We're starting out with a couple of nice choice Angus chuck roast. I've laid down double layers of wide foil, cutting board on top, and then paper towels on top of those. You'll see the reason for this a little later on. First, we're going to lay the roast on the paper towels and pat the top dry with another paper towel. Chuck roasts are actually made up of 6 different muscles, so they can tend to fall apart sometimes. What I like to do is just take a little piece of kitchen twine and tie around them, and that'll help hold everything together. Now that our roasts are dry and tied, we'll remove the paper towels so they're on our cutting board. These need very little trimming, so I'm just going to clean off any small hanging pieces or hard fat. Alright, it's time for our seasoning. I usually like to keep things pretty simple when it comes to spices, especially for beef. So for these, we're just using equal parts of kosher salt, black pepper, and granulated garlic. There's a lot of really good rubs on the market, but I like to enhance the flavor of the meat, not cover it up. So I usually keep the spices pretty simple. These are a fairly thick cut of meat, so they can take a pretty good amount of seasoning, but you don't want to overdo it. Just try to get a nice even coat on all the sides. Remember, you never want to actually rub your seasoning on the meat. Always pat it gently to help it stick. If you rub it, it'll wipe your seasoning away in some areas and leave clumps of seasoning in others. Alright, now that our trimming and seasoning are done, we can get rid of the cutting board. Okay, that's it. Our roasts are prepped and ready to wrap. I'm going to place it in the refrigerator overnight, but if you don't have time, just try to give them an hour or two so the seasoning has a little time to adhere and penetrate into the meat. It's also a good idea to put things on a sheet pan before putting them in the refrigerator, just in case there's a leak. All right, it's the next morning, and I've removed the roast from the foil and placed them on a rack inside a sheet pan. I do this to help cut down on cleanup. Using a rack in the pan lifts the meat up and allows the heat and smoke to get all the way around the meat. If you prefer to place your meat directly on your smoker rack, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We're out at the smoker now. I got our chuck roast out here. We've got two of them, about 2.5 pounds apiece, a little bit over. We got the smoker preheated to 250. That's where we're going to be running the entire cook here. I'm doing two of them because we're going to finish them off two different ways. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm going to be using pecan for our smoke today. It's a little bit brisky out here for a fall day in El Paso. So it's supposed to be nice this afternoon. We'll see how things turn out. So let's get them in the smoker and get it going. Looking pretty, pretty, pretty. Let's go, little babies. It's been about an hour and a half, so let's take a look and see how things are going. Oh, they're looking good. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Oh, a bunch of little weed pollen floating around here. Oh, bark setting up good. Still good and moist. I don't think we need spritzing or anything. I think we're sitting pretty good right there. A probe in here. Get her shut up. And let's see what kind of temperatures we got here. We're looking right about 118, 137. Let's see where we're going. We're 119 on one of them, 136 on the other one. So obviously the thinner one is coming along faster. That's one reason I wanted to go ahead and hook up these thermometers. I figured it was going to be a pretty good difference in wrap time on these. All right, we're going to let them go for another hour or so and keep an eye on the temperature, and we'll be back to check in a little bit. Okay, we got this one out, and it looks absolutely beautiful. You can see how much juice is sitting on top of that roast. These things are just incredible. So we're going to go ahead and get this one wrapped up here. Okay, we got a couple of things here that we're going to add in. We got a nice little pan of sliced up onions here to go with it. Now, it looks like a lot of onions, but remember, we're doing two roasts, and these are going to eventually, they're going to shrink down to less than half of what we have there. So I'm going to get this roast over here. Try and save as much of this juice as I can. I don't want to waste any of that good stuff. Oh man, that's fabulous. That is just fabulous. Okay, now let's get us a few of these onions and put right in here on top of it. This one is going to be for the pulled beef sandwiches. So I just want a little bit of onions in there for flavor. And now, here's my secret ingredient. This is what really makes the world go round. This, my friend, is lard. Good old pure lard. Not vegetable oil, not shortening. This is lard. A lot of people use beef tallow nowadays on their briskets and things, and it does help a lot. Beef tallow is a pain in the butt. You either got to buy it, and it's expensive as hell, or you got to save all your fat trimmings, keep them in the refrigerator, in the freezer, take them out, render them down, filter them out, strain them out, do all of that just to use them. I ain't got time for that. This lard will make anything just as damn good. Fat's fat. Not going to taste any different. It's just going to give a good, silky, melt in your mouth texture to whatever you put it on, whether it's ribs or brisket or chuck roast, whatever. So we're just going to pour a little bit of this right over the top, just like so. We'll get these sides pulled up good and tight. We want this to really be good and tight here so this roast can steam inside, retain all its moisture, and get perfect. Get perfect for me later. All right, I'm going to get this back in the smoker and let it keep on cooking. All right, we'll just set this little baby right up there and put our probe back in there just so we can keep an eye on it and know when we're about there. Our final thing is going to be by texture, as always, but the temperature will give us a good idea when we need to come back and check it again for tenderness. So we'll close her up and let them get going. We'll let that other one cook a little while. It gets a little more temperature on it, and then we'll get it wrapped in a little bit. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get this other one out. Temperature didn't get up quite where I wanted it to be, but it's close enough. And I don't want it to dry out and over bake in there. So we're going to go ahead and get it wrapped up and start getting it tender. So what we're going to do is get our little onions out of the way here. We'll leave a few on the bottom there just for a nice little bed. That is so gorgeous. Just look at that. That is going to make one nice roast right there now. Okay, let's get it back in the smoker. Okay. We got one of them here that's checking good on temp. Let's see. Oh my goodness, that thing looks so damn good. All right, let's see what we got here. This will be the... Nope. It's right there at it, but still a little bit tight in a couple places. So we'll just put it back in. Let it go a little bit longer. It's almost there, though. Man, that thing smells absolutely incredible. Very hot. Unfortunately, we lost a little bit of our video, but all we did was let both roasts come up until they were probe tender. We set them aside for about an hour and let them rest. The thicker one, we sliced it up to serve, and the other one we pulled to make sandwiches with. And there you go, delicious chuck roast. Y'all give this a try. I guarantee you'll like it.
Thanks for stopping by. See y'all soon.